that's what I kind of do. Just say yes, like everything, and see where, it's kind of like you mentioned before in the ice bath. Is it going to kill you? No. Is it uncomfortable? Maybe, but it's good to get, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So.
Yes. All right, here we go. G'day, folks. Welcome back to another Sauna Sessions with Shay. In the sauna today, we have Steven Middlehurst. How are you, mate?
Good, mate.
Thanks for joining me in the sauna. How was the ice bath and the
just starting to get the feeling back into my fingers, but no, it's great. It's great, yeah.
Nice, mate. Now, do you want to do the first ladling of the water to get us off to the races? So, just make sure you don't burn yourself, mate. We've had a few lawsuits. No, we have no lawsuits, but a few people that have gone close to almost burning themselves.
Make it a first. No, let's not make it a first one. Beauty.
Now, mate, the reason. There we go. Look at that. I've known Steven for, about 10 years?
Yeah.
So?
Yeah, that's over, yeah.
And I've just been noticing all the stuff that you've been doing, mate. And that's why I thought I'd get you on the podcast for a chat, because you're always just having a crack, right? But before we get into that, we've got something new we want to try.
Yeah.
Right? And it's called, I've got to name the segment. It's called Scene Stealers. I've just come up with that name. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But basically, I've given Steven a scene from a movie this morning. We're going to reenact it just to break the ice, right? And then we'll get into the podcast.
Yeah,
all right.
Cool.
So this scene is from Back to the Future, the first one. It's the very end scene, right? And I'll be playing the part of Doc, and you'll be Marty. Okay.
Sweet.
Ready to get straight into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
The worse you are as an actor, right, the better this will be. Okay.
Let's roll with that.
Okay. Marty, here we go. Marty, you got to come back with me.
Where?
Back to the future.
Wait a minute. What are we doing, Doc?
I need fuel. Go ahead, quick, get in the car.
No. Look, Doc, I just got here, okay? Jennifer's here. We're going to take the new truck out for a spin.
Well, bring her along. This concerns her too.
Wait a minute. Doc, what are you talking about? What happens to us in the future? What? Do we become assholes or something?
No. You and Jennifer both turn out fine. It's your kids, Marty. Something has to be done about your kids.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
I got to rewatch that movie.
Geez.
I got to watch that movie.
That was rusty, but that was good, mate. Well done.
I'm like, what does Marty sound like? I can't remember.
Oh, Dave Fox, he just sounds like Marty. That was awesome, mate. Thank you so much for partaking. Yeah, we're giving this a run to see how we go. But who doesn't love a good scene from a movie?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's some great scenes out there.
What's some of your favourite movies, mate? What do you watch?
Oh, I mean, apart from all the Marvel sort of stuff, I'm definitely into a lot of that sort of thing.
Okay.
There's a couple good ones, like About Time. That's a good thinking one, but even Yes Man's a good one. Which
with Jim Carrey.
With Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yes Man. So I kind of, which I'm sure we'll probably dive into a bit more, but that one's definitely
Well, I think that segues beautifully into what I want to talk to you about. Because as I said, look, I've been looking at a lot of your stuff. Now you're flying planes, you're jumping on motorbikes, you're having a crack at pan flutes. Hand pan.
Hand pans.
Yep.
Yes.
For people at home that don't know what a hand pan is, it's sort of like what would you call it? It's like a
UFO.
Yeah, UFO looking thing. Yeah.
And with a couple of notes, all handmade. They kind of panel beat it into a tune, and it's just. Everything sounds good.
And you sort of slap it with your fingers and thumbs.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're also doing the didgeridoo, the piano, guitar, and we were in the garage. You said, "Oh, I've got a drum kit as well."
Yeah, we'll have to have a jam with that too.
You're a one-man band. You've got it all going on.
Yeah.
And so back to the Yes Man thing.
Yes.
Do you feel that your time on this earth is... Like, time is valuable, and you need to give all these things a crack and just give it a go.
Yeah.
And what's the process there? Because a lot of people go, "Yep, I'm doing this, and that's what I'm going to do for the next 60 years." You're curious about all these things. What where's that come from?
I think I'll never waste the time, but there was a time in my life where I was just doing the same thing forever, which is fine. But
is it?
Yeah, well, yeah, for some, I guess. But I don't know. I think it's good to ask questions, right? It's good to talk to people. Yep. It's good to try new things and see where it goes. See if you like it for one. See if that's just, there's always something that comes out of it. And that movie probably started it before, but I was like,
yep,
yeah, that's what I kind of do. Just say yes, like everything, and see where, it's kind of like you mentioned before in the ice bath. Is it going to kill you? No. Is it uncomfortable? Maybe, but it's good to get, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So if it's not going to injure someone, injure yourself, or hurt someone or hurt yourself, just give it a crack. Yeah. So
because even like you coming on the podcast, you didn't think twice. You're like, I'll give that a go.
Yeah, definitely. That's right. And then now we're doing movie scenes and all that. So that's great.
It's crazy because it is one of those things. So how'd you get into flight? Like, where'd that come from?
Same thing as actually a present from someone. So, I mean, I was always intrigued. I've done a lot of like skydiving and stuff like that. So I thought, I don't know, I guess that's jumping out. It'd be good to know how to kind of fly it a little bit as well. I guess the whole picture and stuff. So
just in case the pilot decides to jump out.
That's right.
So you're there on the plane. It's like, hang on, I better fly this thing home.
It's funny too. The person, my instructor at the time, he looked 15, but he's maybe 18.
Is that a worry?
Yeah, it was, because he's like, hey, I'm your captain today. And I was like, no,
because you reached the pedals.
But it was super chill. Like he's just like, So it's I don't know. I kind of trust in people. I think I've learned to people in that space, and you can tell who has a confidence about them. Like skydiving, you're trusting someone in to jump out of a plane. Yeah, but I
trust they know what they're doing.
Yeah. So it's I think I just kind of all right, I trust you. Let's do it.
Nice. Yeah. And you're performing too, mate.
Yeah,
out there on doing gigs in the city.
Yeah. So just little gigs, just to kind of keep. I don't know if anyone's been to my house. They know every room has some sort of instrument in it. If it's a Brazilian berimbau or a handpan.
What's a Brazilian berimbau?
It's a bamboo stick with one string and a shaker and a coconut, and you have another almost like a violin sort of thing. Yeah. But you hit the string and you have a rock and you kind of half push on the string and it just makes a sound.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's just
I'm going to have to look that one up.
Yeah. So I'm not too versatile, I'd say, but
play that in a band. Like, would it go well in, say, a Metallica song or something?
In the right key, everything's good. I guess. But
I'll check that one out. Yeah. But that's the thing, mate. There's something about just saying yes and giving things a crack. It seems like you've sort of trained your brain to go and just actually, poke at that curiosity and give something a crack. You may not love it, may hate it, but at least you're giving it a go.
Yeah, that's right.
And even there's a bit of fear involved in that, and it sounds like you've sort of learned to overcome that fear of trying something different, because I know it's one of the biggest things for most people is change and trying something different. It's just easy to stay in that one lane and do the same thing every time.
Yeah,
but you're constantly getting out of your comfort zone and trying new things.
I think it's important for growth, and I've kind of, like I said, I wasn't wasted time, but now I'm kind of on a bit of a mission to just figure it out. I don't have it figured out as much as it might seem, but it's it's just about kind of just exposure to everything until you kind of know your core, like everyone has their core beliefs and values of what they want to do, but I guess it's just building onto that sort of thing. So
so what have you learned about yourself along the way?
It's trust in the process and things like that. I think, right now, just on that journey of kind of, yes to everything and that, but just showing up for myself. I've kind of learned how to just show up for myself. And we had a bit of a chat before, just, coming in and just being true to yourself and the little wins, taking those little wins, and those little wins just build you up. And if you say you're going to do something, do it.
Yeah.
And just.
Well, they add up as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And a lot of people, they're scared to fail. So just have all these little wins in place, and it kind of warms you up to that big win eventually. So yeah.
But I think the other intriguing thing that we were talking about off air before was your inner voice. You're not that hard. You don't go hard on yourself. You give yourself a break. And I think a lot of people can learn a lot from that, because people are so hard on themselves.
Oh man, yeah.
And it's just, and they're beating themselves up for, and so were you one of those people that did beat themselves up, or you've always been pretty kind on yourself?
Yeah, I think personally I have. More so these days. It's coming from teaching apprentices and things like that, and just seeing people growing up now, like this generation of things. Everyone's just so hard. They don't want to get it wrong. They're perfectionists. It's great to be perfect, but it takes a bit to get there. So I've just kind of been solid within myself. So I don't mind making a fool of myself, doing these things and just being uncomfortable. So I've been pretty good at that. It's not something I've learned. I've just always worried about, other people's stuff. I'm just kind of, let's do it.
That's cool. Because there's something intriguing about being that perfectionist. That, well, there's no such thing. You're always striving for something that it's what is perfect. But that allows you to almost default to beating yourself up. It's like, that's not good enough. It's not good enough. Well, when is good enough? You'll
constantly be chasing your tail if you're or going nowhere, I should say, just if you're on yourself too much, Because
it does seem like the default mechanism for a lot of people is to just beat the shit out of yourself, up here. And, it's like, it's no good comes from it.
Nah.
So, mate, I think that's really intriguing about you is it's something that you've always had in you is to go easy on yourself. Okay, that didn't work out. Let's try it another way.
I think I like with apprentices in my job role at the moment, it's I don't know, just being like in that education space, and I feel like we're all a bit of that, whether it's to a mate, you're an ear, you're something like that. It's you got to practice what you preach as well. So it's easy to say, don't be so hard on yourself. But then in the background, you're being hard on yourself. So I've kind of, once again, just being true to myself. If I'm saying something, then I mean it and I believe it with me, and I'm not just saying it, because I've heard it. It's a generic thing. So
you can't say one thing and do the other.
That's
either.
right.
That's good. And so even with work, what do you do for work?
So at the moment, a training manager for like a private, TAFE, kind of like TAFE, but a private organization. But moving into kind of a chief commercial, so a CCO role.
Okay.
Into that space of things. So
But at the moment though, you said 25 people underneath you.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you're having to manage 25 people, and not only just day-to-day work stuff, day-to-day emotional stuff, private stuff as well. So not only are you, getting through the work, but you're also having to help people through tough times. And how do you find that? Is that a challenging role?
Because it's I don't know. It's kind of not humbling is probably the wrong word to use, but it's, I don't know. It seems to come easy for me. This was a something that kind of realization before when I was on the tools as a spray painter. In the same place for 12 years, and cars don't give much emotion back to you. And so I was like, no, people are cool. I like people. I like,
I don't know. I would debate that. Some cars have got some character.
They do make noises. Some not good noises. You're like,
so, some are a pain in the bum. They break down. They've got their, I don't know. My van, it's got character. I love it. It always runs. Starts first time every time. But it's got something about it. I think the more you sit into it, and You know, it starts to develop human characteristics.
That's all coming from you. Some cars definitely have some sass. So
I was watching last night a bit of Castaway. And so if you spend enough time with yourself, you start talking to a bloody volleyball.
Yes. That's right. Yeah.
It's right. You know? I was at the scene where he kicks the volleyball away and realizes he needs like, but that volleyball has become a person.
Yeah.
So you believe what you want to believe and see what you want to see.
People put value on all sorts of things and put emotion in all sorts of things. So, definitely. Yeah, cars. Yeah.
So, with this train of thought, what's next on the horizon? What do you want to try next?
What do I have in the horizon? Probably there's
so many instruments you got to play.
It's trying to think of the next instrument. Right now, it's probably just honing back into kind of the roots of it all, just with how busy things are getting for me personally. So I think just trying to take a little sidestep just to appreciate what I have now, and then just kind of, and then kind of launch forward again. So,
well, that seems to be another special skill that you've got, because you said on the way up here, you just took time to appreciate everything around you, and you just lived in the present, lived in the now. And listened to the birds, listened to the wind through the grass, the trees. I think that's another thing we don't do enough of. And if you need to take 5-10 minutes out just to appreciate and be in the now, and there's always something to think about in the future. There's always probably leave as much things as you can in the past, but living in the now, I think, is a skill that I think a lot of people can, pick up on as well. So do you find yourself in day-to-day experiences just hearing the birds, hearing the water run over rocks, or,
I try and get, and once again, I'm not hard on myself. Things are busy, and I'm just pretty intuitive and just with my own emotions and where I'm sitting on a level of things. But I think there's the art of noticing. So it's just noticing, just being present in the moment, even if it's for 10 seconds. If you just see a butterfly, like just have a look at it.
Beauty of the butterfly.
Wow, that flows so easy, through the air, and then go back to the hustle and bustle if you want. But it's important to take that time. So definitely. Do I do it every day? Probably not. Maybe. Usually when I play instruments, that keeps me in a still space and gets me out of my head and work and things like that. So
music, you find you're in the now and you're in that moment, and it's an extension of you.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
running through you, coursing through your veins.
Vibrations or whatever it may be. Working out is a big one for some as well. You just forget something. Some people are gamers. That gets them out of this world into another world. Yeah. So for me, music and Muay Thai essentially is my or just gym sort of stuff gets me out of that world and just present in myself, sort of thing. So
cool. How long have you been doing Muay Thai for?
That would be coming up to 17 years, I feel. 16 or 17 years. So,
and you find that's a good discipline?
It's solid. And I mean, same thing too, when you're coaching people, it's not just a fitness journey, it's a emotional journey as well. So it's super interesting. You have people and you can see it in their eyes. They're trying to, you can see they've come to training with bringing something in and trying to get it out, whether it's stresses or something like that. So sometimes it's good to be like, just stop, have a breath for a second, talk about technique, let them just kind of get out of their head again, get them focusing on this technique, because you can see they're just trying to hit this thing as hard as they can hit it. And it's like, no, just stop for a sec. Talk about technique, listen and look, and then they're like, and then
so you teach as well?
Yes, coach. Definitely.
What's the difference between Muay Thai and say Jiu-Jitsu or?
And so pretty much Muay Thai kickboxing, but elbows, knees. So more that stand-up sort of stuff.
Okay, more stand-up. Jiu-Jitsu is a little bit different. Okay. Do you compete?
I used to. So probably 7 years since I've competed. Do a couple of charity fights here and there, but you get pretty beat up, and it was a work thing. I used to rock up with black eyes and all stuff, and then handing keys to customers, and they're like,
the guy at a fight club.
Yeah, it's like, looks like you got into a fight.
Yeah.
Did, but in a good way, in a competition way. Yeah, control way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It wasn't a street fight down the back of an alley.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
definitely not.
Had 10 punks having a go at me.
I think that's being comfortable, like having that.
Yeah.
Like that's Muay Thai for me. Music, Muay Thai has been a life-changing thing. For myself, and just being solid within myself, and no ego, nothing like that. You know what you're capable of, you know where you stand. And
do you find that the Muay Thai community, they're very much like that?
Yeah.
Everyone gets on.
Yeah.
In the heat of the battle, it's what it is.
Yeah.
But then off the mat or whatever, then everyone's sort of very helpful.
Definitely.
They're very appreciative of each other, and
it's that
grateful.
culture. It's that culture, and it's so before this we were in the ice bath, and it's that was a challenge. 3 degrees is cold, and you get a connection. It's the same when you're with someone, training with someone. It's like, all right, this next hour is going to be torture. But you get through it.
Yeah.
And then that's a small win or a big win for some, so it's
sure.
It just builds you up. All those things build you up, just saying, yes, all right, I'll do, I trust in it. Do it, get it done. And then there's a win under your belt. So, yeah.
Because I'm always curious for like your first fight. You must have been shitting yourself. Jumping on stage for the first time to perform.
Yeah.
Like that's shitting your decks kind of stuff. Because if you muck up, you got maybe a couple of hundred people going, you suck.
Yeah.
Or if you get the shit beaten out of you, you suck. Yeah. So it's going through those moments, and it is. It's actually being there and saying, hang on, I'm going to give this a crack.
Yeah.
And showing up for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you do fail, then I think you've got a good system going where you go, okay, I fucked that up, but I'm not going to beat myself up. So then you give it another crack, and then you start to become good at it.
It's that lesson. There's a lesson to be learned in everything. And as long as it's not a fail if you've learned something out of it. So that's, probably my first loss in my fight. Super close. Obviously, I didn't do enough in the fight. I went the distance, and I was pretty down and stuff, because I'm like, oh, maybe I just needed that extra 2%, would have got it. But it's fine, because I learned so much out of it. My first coach kind of drove me into, which is it's stuck with me for ages. I tell my students this, but you got to do what others don't so you can do what others can't. So it's that stuck with me heaps. So hence why I do all these things and learn from them. It's all about learning.
I think like you hear with the MMA guys, so obviously the training camp, I don't know, it can be months, right? And then for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, or even 1 second, 5 or 10 seconds, you get knocked out. I think you're allowed this grieving process. Like you're allowed to, because I think there's something about that next day. If you've just lost a fight and you've just been training for it for 4 months, you're going to feel like shit. There's 100%. No two ways about it. But it's going, okay, I'm going to allow my body to process that.
Definitely.
But I'm not going to allow it to hang on to me for 10 years. It's like, okay, you got a day to feel sorry for yourself, or just lick your wounds, right? But then we're going to get up and we're going to get back on the horse.
It takes people a lot of time, some short amount of time. But the world's a hard place to be into anyway. So you don't want to be any harder than it is anyway. So it's
I think you're allowed to feel disappointed. You're allowed to. You don't want to shun those feelings, and go, oh, that sucked, all right. And that was like, I've trained my ass off. I should have had that fight in the bag. Okay, but like you're allowed that time, but just make it a short time to feel miserable about the outcome. But it's like, okay, what did we learn from that?
That's right.
And let's get straight back on the horse. And I think that's where, some of the best fighters, they rebound so quickly.
And you got to be open. I think you need more people, more, leaders, paving the way and explaining that. Especially I see it now with like generation. Now there's no one it's either just too soft or too hard. There's no that building it up, come for the journey, like let's do this together, like instead of just a kind of a dictator of you didn't do it right, so it's definitely need more people kind of building everyone else up, even in the street, like it's just good to help. That's what.
Well, I'm intrigued by that person too, because I'm starting to see more of those people.
Yeah.
And I think it's the people you hang around as well, but it's the person that is encouraging that person to do better. I think you see it a lot online, especially like in, say, acting world and stuff like that. It's like, how the fuck did they get that part? Like, they're a piece of shit actor and like that. And in some ways, that mentality is the default. Is like, why aren't I there? Why am I not doing that? And who are they to, what I mean? And it's like all this throwing rocks, but I think if part of it is, if you're like, good on them, how good is it that they've made it? And they've done something, and you're on a journey. Obviously, you're not to where that they've got. And you may be a better, Muay Thai or actor or whatever. Right. But if you keep that mindset going, you'll be bigger and better.
That's right.
But encourage everyone along the way.
Oh, definitely. And you just learn from that. Like I always, as a tradesman or apprentice, or there are people better than me on the tools, and I would always just be like, at first, or people come in with these expensive cars, and what is it? What are they doing? How'd they get there? Mummy, daddy's money, whatever it is, maybe. But then you get rid of that negativity, and you just ask a question. How did they get there? And talk to that person, or just look and be like, I see what they're doing. Okay, cool. That's a path that might not work for you, but it could as well. So it's just learning.
It is, mate. Isn't it? It is. Mate. So would you ice bath? You give it another crack, or you?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, 3 degrees. Yeah, that's
so
mine.
You've been doing a bit of hot cold therapy as well.
Have done. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What's your experiences there? How do you find your body's reacted to?
Oh, you feel like it's one, just muscles feel better, but it's, I don't know, like it's hard to explain, right? Like what happens inside, but you just, even mentally, I would say, because it just opens you up. But I think I put it back to that, little bit of adversity or whatever it is. It's like a tough thing, you get through it. So that dopamine hit, and it just, you're keen and ready for the day or whatever it may be.
But I think so many people can learn so much from you, because I think you've developed a system that we should all strive for. And that is, and everyone's heard it before. People may just have one of the 3 or one of the 4. You seem to have these 4, like, okay, I'm going to give it a crack. I'm going to overcome fear. And fear is the biggest thing that stops most people. I'm going to just give it a go. Then you fuck it up, and then you go, well, that wasn't too bad. What did I learn from that? How do I make it better next time? So you don't beat yourself up. And then you're constantly just getting back on the horse and giving it a crack. So I think that you've got this loop going on that once you start something, because it's quite easy to go, that sucked, I suck. That's the end. I'm going to call it a day. I'm never going to do Muay Thai again. You've been doing it 17 years. I'm never going to pick up the didgeridoo again because I suck. I don't know how to circle breathing. And it's just like, I think that people can take a lot away from that. And but I think that's awareness as well. So when you're very aware that, because I think we can all beat ourselves up. And it's actually pulling yourself, going, hang on, just cool your jets, mate. You weren't that bad.
It's you gotta. It's like I said, life's just too hard anyway, or it can be hard. So you just,
it's the easy out though. So okay, I'll just give that a go, and you sucked at it. And you're really bad at it, and you should never do that again. It's like, okay. And actually almost be this stubborn. It's like, you're right. I'm never going to try that ever again. I'm fucking crap. All right, let's go eat some Doritos and watch Netflix. You know what I mean? So I think you've cracked the code, mate. And I think it's a good code to have. But I think, I don't know, do you ever think about on your deathbed what you haven't in 40 years from now. Everyone talks about regrets and stuff like that. Yeah. But I don't think you want to get to your deathbed. And it kind of scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Is to get to your deathbed and go, fuck, I never had a crack at that. And, I always just wanted to pull that string on that and just see what unwound with that. You know, and I never did.
Yeah.
I think that scares the shit out of me more.
Yeah.
To not give things a go.
And it's super, because it's that fail. No one wants to fail. No one wants to, but if you give it a go, there's always something, whether it's an interaction, even if it's one thing like, random, like I think I went to a Tupperware party that's like and the things that happen from, I won't get into them, but the things that happen from going to some random Tupperware party, I just met some, but I met some interesting people and had some, cool encounters that carried on from that. So it's there's so much happening out there in the world, and I think you are.
I want to actually know where your limit is. What have you said no to?
Oh, you know what? Really not much.
Involved a donkey and a bat, and
that's for another sort of podcast, I guess.
Steve, mate, look, I appreciate you coming in and doing the deluxe package, having a go.
That was great.
Like, everything I threw at Steve, he just said, "Yep, let's do it." So, the breath work, the ice bath, and now the sauna and the chat, and then even this is the first time we've given the script thing a go, mate. Yeah, I think you could play Marty quite easily, and Back to the Future Part 4. But
I'll put my application in. See, the thing is, I will. Go home or do whatever. I'm probably going to watch this movie, find this scene and be like, all right, how do I get better at it? Just give it a...
I'll tell you what, we can redo the scene in a couple of weeks from now. After you've done your research. And see, it's the very last scene of the Back to the Future, is it 1? I think it's 1.
Okay.
And then roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. And then they drive off. And,
right.
They fly off.
I'm going to have a look, definitely.
But mate, I appreciate you coming on for a chat and I think actually the people listening will get a lot out of this episode. I got a lot out of it, and I realised, there's some things that I can learn from you. So appreciate your time, mate.
About that.
Thanks so much.
No, thank you so much, Shay. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. Everyone, don't forget, if you like what you see, if you got any questions for Steve, yell out and I'll pass them on his way. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you've got any questions or you want to come on the podcast, just yell out and I'll be in touch. Thanks, guys. We'll see you for the next one.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.